This is the one. Now the door should be left open for us. Look at this, guys. It's like a little secret garden, look. Is there any cars in it? God, this place is like immaculate. No way, there's a secret room hidden back here. Come and join us for today's Explore, where we take you around this lovely little abandoned cottage which is worth just short of £1 million, and it sits completely empty and frozen in time. It's also said that the property is actually haunted by a young lady what can be seen and heard late at night roaming the hallways and the grounds of the property, dancing and humming to many different melodies. Now let's get into today's adventure. We started off today's explore by checking around the grounds of the property and seeing if we could gain access to the rear of the cottage. As we slowly made our way down the side of the property, we noticed just how many plants were left here, and even the net curtains were left hanging in the windows. After peering in the windows and making sure that nobody was home, we made our way round to the front of the property, where we had had a tip off that someone was going to leave the door on the latch for us to be able to access the property. And once we had made it round to the front door, then sure enough, all it took was a light push and we were in. As we slowly creeped through the front door, we were greeted with a small porchway which appeared that the house was mostly empty. However, there was the odd rug on the floor with this old wooden compass left frozen in time on the wall. As we slowly creeped into the hallway, we noticed an old stair lift which was still attached to the wall, and it appeared that the electric had even still been left on in the property. As we cautiously made our way round the property, not knowing what to expect, we turned into the first room and noticed chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, along with red luxury carpets throughout the house. Although the rooms appeared empty, there were still the odd items left laying around. On the side of the house there were these two portal-looking windows what were lead lined, and they reminded us of the sort of windows you would get in an old ship. As we looked out the rear windows looking out over the back garden, we noticed even the curtains were still left here hanging in the property. As we slowly made our way into the kitchen, noticing the immaculate tiles on the floor, and even the washing machine was still plumbed in. As we turned around, we noticed 3 doors just behind us, so we opened the first door, not knowing quite what lies behind it. After realising it was just a fuse box, we then opened the second door and noticed it was an empty larder what had been left here, which then left us with the third and final door, which meant it must have been the only way out to the back garden. Then as we opened the door, we were quite shocked to find that the rear main door of the property was left completely wide open. As we made our way out onto the patio area, we noticed lots of plants and even an old pump from what can only be described as the remains of an old well. After a quick look around to check that nobody was roaming the grounds, we very quietly creeped over to one of the outhouses, unaware what we were about to find inside. As we opened the door and stepped inside, there were stacks of old roof tiles and many different pots and garden tools left laying around. Based on the condition of the property, it would appear that this property has not been left abandoned for very long at all. As we made our way out of this old garage, it sounded like we thought we heard someone coming in the front door of the property. So we stood quickly just to check that nobody was coming in, and then slowly made our way along to the second outhouse on the grounds. As we stepped down onto the grass and taken a look at the flower borders, it would have appeared that the grass had been mowed fairly recently, which led us to believe that maybe somebody might be coming back to the property. We quickly opened the door on the second outhouse of the property. We peered inside to notice that this one was left completely empty. To think that there's people in the world with so much money that they can own properties like this and leave them sat completely empty is almost criminal. Especially at a time when families are struggling to heat their homes and feed their children. As we made our way out back into the grounds of the property, we made our way over to the second section of the garden, which had been divided up by a partition wall. We were unaware as we made our way through that we were about to stumble across a small area what we can only describe as the secret garden. As we made our way through into this section, we noticed more old flower pots which had been left on the floor, and a nice seating area sat right in the sunlight with a couple of plants left underneath that were still growing. Just behind the bench was a thick privet bush which was dividing the area which we called the secret garden. As we made our way down the 2 steps into the area we called the secret garden, there were seating areas and a nice old stone sundial which was sat smack bang in the middle. As we looked around this small secret garden area, the weirdest thing we noticed was that the sundial had been placed here in the shade. Bruh. After taking a look around all the roses which were scattered around all the borders of the outside of the garden, we quickly made our way back into the house to see what remains in the property upstairs. I can only imagine at the right time of year just how beautiful this garden would have looked with all the different colourful flowers what were growing in the borders. As we slowly made our way up the stairs, we were unprepared that in one of the rooms we were about to find a secret room. As we got to the top of the landing, straight opposite was the bathroom. We made our way across and couldn't believe as we stepped inside, as normally we never find abandoned buildings in this kind of perfect condition. As we made our way across into the first room, still with mirrors all on the wall, we couldn't believe that this house was left so completely immaculate and sat here completely frozen in time. All what was left to do was to check out the last room upstairs. As we stepped into the room, we noticed another rug left on the floor with the luxury red carpets ran throughout most of the house, and these 2 small cupboards either side. We quickly opened the cupboards to check to see if there was anything left behind, and it had appeared that they had been left completely empty. Once we had closed the final cupboard, we were getting ready to wrap up the explore, and then just behind us we noticed the sliding mirror doors. As we slid the door open, we noticed hidden away in the back of the cupboard was another door hiding away a secret room, which gave us a proper feeling like we had just stepped into a wardrobe which reminded us of Narnia. So guys, if you enjoyed the explore, then make sure you hit that like button on the video, and if you haven't already, then please consider subscribing to help us grow the channel. And if you know somewhere where you would like us to go explore, then be sure to check the email in the description and send us the details of where you want to see us explore next, and we will catch you guys on our next adventure.